Welcome to the Happiness and Success After Illinois Tech podcast with the Illinois Tech alumni. We're so happy you're here, and we can't wait for you to be inspired from all these real-life stories of people that attended Illinois Tech, graduated, and found success. No matter your major, your background, or where you're from, success and happiness are possible, and here are the stories to prove it. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of the Happiness and Success After Illinois Tech podcast. My guest this week is Julianna Kovacs. Hi, Julianna.
Hi.
How are you? Good to have you here. Yeah, so Julianna and I met she's an alum, of course, and I'll let her tell you what she studied and when she graduated, but she and I met at an event on campus. And it was, I know it's not women in tech, I'm simplifying, but you can tell us more about how we met. What that event was called, but I just remember it was a great group of ladies talking about their experiences in the corporate world and how they got there and lessons they learned and stuff. So it was really valuable. I hope to do more like that on campus in the future, because I think especially it's important for women in STEM to see other women in STEM being successful and what it looks like. So I really appreciate you doing that event, and I hope to do more of them.
Yeah.
What was the name of it? I forget.
So I'm Julianna Kovacs. I'm actually a customer success manager at Dalux. So Dalux is a European BIM company, and I helped open our first US office in Chicago. So just helping get new clients and support existing ones. But I joined a PwC, which is Professional Women in Construction, to have a networking group here in the industry, and that's been really great. So I worked with them and then my college to bring in like a panel. So that's what we did on entrepreneurship and women in construction.
That was cool. And then what's your degree in? I forgot.
Yeah, so I am from Chicago and I graduated from IIT in 2008 in engineering management.
Engineering management. Okay. And then what are you doing now? So I know you said where you work, but then you said you helped them open a BIM locate. What was the word you used?
Oh yeah, so BIM is building information modeling. So it's a lot around 3D models. And what we do, we have like a really cool software, and we help the companies in the industry make their construction process easier and more cost effective. So taking a lot of things that were on paper, like checklists, and putting them into the computer. And then you can even have it on your mobile phone a lot on the field. And the communication's easier, and you just make construction easier with less mistakes. And then you can have all these buildings we have in Chicago.
That's so cool. I'm guessing though, just because I kind of have a little insight into it, I'm guessing it's probably really cool software, like you said. I'm guessing the construction industry was a little bit hesitant initially. Everything's like on paper, right? And they're probably like, I have to have a computer or my phone. It's like, no, it's going to be easier. Because I worked in medical software a long time ago. Same thing. These doctors and nurses were like, but we already can just do it on paper. I'm like, but it's going to be so much easier, I promise, And then once they get into using it, they're like, oh, it is easier. It's faster. I can get done with my work sooner. But people are resistant in the beginning. But I'm glad this is one. I mean, obviously technology can do a lot of cool things, but these are the kinds of things where it's like, no, it's making a massive difference in the industry.
Cool. And then, like I mentioned, I opened the first US office. So our company is really big and popular in Europe. And Europe is already a little bit more ahead in BIM because they have requirements to use it, where it's more optional still here a lot of times. But it is coming over, and it's getting really big, and it's been a cool opportunity.
That is so cool. That's what happened with the medical software. Everyone, EMR or electronic health records, EHR, EMR, medical records, same thing. Everyone was like, no, I'm like, eventually you're going to have to, so you might as well just get on board sooner rather than later. Other people are doing it. You're going to have to do it. You might as well just embrace it. It's funny.
Well, being myself too, I like working for a company that's like a little bit more advanced than what's going on in the world. So we're able to provide, companies tools that get them ahead and more successful.
That's fun. Yeah. So did you know when you were at Illinois Tech, did you know this is the kind of work you wanted to do when you were majoring? What was your major?
So
you said that.
Engineering management. I started off as a mechanical engineer, and I feel like the first 3 years I just went to class. I really didn't know what I was going to do, and I think that's okay. I don't know. Looking back, might have been better to start exploring that earlier, but I always liked computer aided drafting. I always liked math. And I also knew I wanted to be, for some reason, I thought being an engineer, I might just be in a lab or something. I don't know. But I knew I wanted to be like out doing different things all day too, but also, yeah,
That's smart.
around technology. But
Okay. So you graduate with your degree, and then you're like, is the first job, did you have an internship? And did that land you your first job, or were they not related? Tell me about that.
no, I did get an internship in high school between my junior and senior year, but I worked at the Cheesecake Factory while I was in school. So I didn't really look into an internship, but I did have this goal to get a job, like have the job lined up before I graduated. So having that goal, I worked really hard to, yeah, and interview as much as I could, apply to a bunch of jobs, and I was able to have a job lined up like 1 or 2 months before I graduated.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
What did you use? What platform did you use to look for jobs? Students are always like, what's the best one? I'm like, well, LinkedIn, because that's where everyone is, and that's where you can communicate
Yeah.
with people and build your network. What is that what you used? Did you use
Well,
Handshake at all?
well, so I recently started this job in August, and I did use LinkedIn primarily. But in 2008, when I graduated, I don't think there was LinkedIn yet. So I
Yeah.
used Monster and Career Builder and things like that. ZipRecruiter, I think there was.
Okay.
So it was a little bit different, but I tried to use more than one platform. And
Okay.
yeah.
Variety. Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the timing. You're right. I was telling the students, to date myself, I said, we didn't even, not only did we not have LinkedIn, we didn't really even have email. Like we had to mail our applications in and then
Yeah.
get back. Same thing with college. And you have to wait to hear and it would come in the mail. Or you'd have to drop off your resume at the actual office. Crazy, with a piece of paper and a cover letter saying, I'd like to apply for this job if you wanted to stand out. I'm like, but now it's easier for them to apply, but not as easy to stand out, which is why I say that you have to do more than just apply. You have to follow up and build your network and all of that other stuff.
Yeah.
So are you working, the job you have now, is it in the same field that you were working when you graduated? Or did you switch kind of what you were doing?
Yeah, it's similar. So my first job was an inside sales engineer. I had this idea, yeah, that sales engineer was, I didn't even really know what it meant too much, but it sounded like something I wanted to do. And I got promoted at that company to like junior account manager, then account manager. And one of the things I did, uh, and being in my 20s, I'm trying to still do this, but I had this enthusiasm and I was being creative. And I asked, can I start a distributor in Brazil? And they're like, cool. It was just like a private company. And I did build this distributor in Brazil and got them started. And so what I do now is kind of similar to that one aspect that I really liked. So I think every job, I've had 4 jobs. I've just tried to think of like, what did I really like at this last job? And like, can I do more of that at the next job? I mean, it is still work, it's a job, so not everything is fun and party. But yeah, I just every job I'm trying to take the parts that I'm good at and I enjoy. And
oh, I love that. Did someone teach that to you, or did you just know that intuitively? I love this, and so I'm gonna do more of that at my next job because that's really smart.
yeah, I think it took actually just a lot of interviewing too, if that makes sense. So maybe it was intuitively, but you see these jobs and you don't really know like what the job is going to be like. I think even my job right now, I took a few interviews before even really knowing that I wanted the job.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I started to get really excited and I told them, the parts that I liked and it was able to match up. And yeah, so I think it kind of was like more intuitively, but.
So smart. And I don't think I know young college students don't trust themselves much, especially females, because they'll say to me, I want this. And then they'll say, but I'm worried or I'm confused or I'm whatever. I'm like, no, you're not. You said what you wanted. Now you're nervous about, can you get it? Or someone else
Right.
isn't doing it and you don't see it yet. So you don't know if you can do it. But I'm like, know
Right.
what you want. And that's really important because not everyone does. And when you do, you can finally say, you can start to carve out the kind of job you want or the kind of internship you want, or the kind of company you want to work for. Like there's all these other things, not just, I'm going to go do this work. I'll just take any job. You don't want just any job. You want a job where you can use your strengths that you're going to enjoy and be excited about, and a company that aligns to your values. Like there's all these other things that they're not considering, like if you're not into whatever, if you're into like an environmentally friendly world and planet or whatever, then you want to work for someone who's only producing plastic and making things worse or whatever it is, for you. But I don't think that, I know that they don't think about that. So I know that myself and the other coaches on our team in career services, we're always like trying to give them the bigger picture. Like there's more than just this job. And it might just be the first job you have, but who knows where it can take you. But you have to go after that stuff that you like and are excited about. If you just take it because like, okay, I can do that job, and you're kind of already rolling your eyes about it and you haven't even started, it's probably not the right place for you.
Right. Yeah. And for me, there was always this like sales aspect, and I did enjoy the the hunt and the win of the sales, but I've been trying to kind of go away from that and do more project manager or customer success, because I still like being a part of the sales process and helping the clients be successful, but I don't enjoy like the sales part as much anymore. And this job that I have too, it's really a lot about the culture also. And they have the idea too. We're not selling the software. We're just like helping people who want to use it.
Yeah, it sounds like you're like, creating solutions, helping them get what they want out of the software. Like what can make your life a little bit easier, a little bit better. That is a cool place to be.
Yeah.
My husband's in sales. I don't enjoy them either. I have an undergrad in marketing and economics, and I thought I was going to go into sales because, I like to talk to people, but I realized, I don't really like selling, and I'm not really competitive, and I'm not driven by money. Like those have to be intrinsic things that are aligned to, like how you think. And so he's got a very successful career doing it because he is competitive and likes to hunt and likes to, I'm gonna do this. I'm excited to help them. They don't see it that way, but I'm gonna get them to see it that way, kind of thing. So you really have to know your personality, which is something no one else can help you with. Like you have to know it. The people that love you and support you will probably be able to help you with, showing you what they see about you with your strengths, but you really know what you like, what you don't like, what you're not aligned to. And especially women. I mean, everyone's really has an intuitive way about them. I think every human being does. Some people are more in tune to it than others, but women especially have it. So I just think we should learn to trust it more, because it's such an important part of our lives and our careers for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
So, okay, let's talk about anything you wish you had known sooner, either at Illinois. I want to ask you both. Something you wish you'd known sooner at Illinois Tech, and then once you graduated and were out in the real world working, what do you wish you would like? I wish I would have realized this sooner.
Yeah. And as I said, I'm still very happy with my career path. I guess I didn't realize I could have stayed in mechanical engineering and still done the job. For some reason, I didn't know. Yeah, just having an engineering degree in general is so valuable, and you can do different things with it. I didn't really know that then. And I also didn't know, how many different types of jobs were available to me, especially like in the construction industry. I'm learning things now, just especially being in PwC, like procurement or project management. There's all of these other jobs that I think of just construction as just, with tools, building things, but there's a whole area just there that I didn't know about. So I wish I maybe was doing more networking or joining like a women's group too. I remember when I don't know, it's probably similar, but I was the only female in a lot of my engineering classes as well. Yeah, especially at IMT. Maybe that's, maybe there's more now.
There's definitely more. There's definitely more.
Well, and what do I wish I knew sooner too? I've been really lucky. I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I do take like little clues from things with my gut, like you were mentioning. A big thing with picking jobs, I've always looked at like the people I'm interviewing with. I'm gonna have to work with them. I think for me that's more important even than money, is that I'm gonna go to work every day. These are the people I'm going to work with. Do I get along with them? Do I like the culture? And I've been really grateful and lucky that that's been the case.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I don't think just calling it lucky is kind of selling yourself short, I think, because you're smart about it. You're like, I have to work with these people. So again, you're being intuitive, like, do I like the culture?
Yeah.
Do I like the people? And what's the saying? Luck favors the prepared. You knew what you were looking for, and you were like subtly checking it out. And then you went and worked for people that you wanted to work for and be around. So if you can know that sooner too, you can get the vibe. I know students will ask me, they did this and they didn't, like, they'll even have interviews and they don't show up, or they switch at last minute, or they said they were going to do something they didn't do even before the job. And I said, listen, if this is how they're treating you before you can work there, chances are this is just how they do things. And is it okay with you having this unpredictability, this erratic, it's, if you thrive in that environment, okay. But if this is already stressing you out, it's probably not a good place. But watch, you have to watch what they're doing. You have to watch how they're acting, because this is who they are. And I think was it Oprah or Maya Angelou had said, like, when people show you who they are the first time, believe them. Is that Maya Angelou?
Yes, that was I've seen that too.
Yeah, believe them the first time. Don't
reminded.
I think especially women will try to make excuses. I know I have done this, and my husband will even say that to me. You're making an excuse for them. I'm like, I am, because we want to think the best of people. Well, maybe it's this and maybe it's that. And men, this is a big strength of them. I know the ones in my life, anyways, that they're like, oh no, that's not right, and I'm not going to allow that or whatever. But that doesn't sound like it's really true, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell myself that sounds kind of like BS, and it just is to me, whatever it is. But we're always like, oh, I don't know, and it's like, no. If you had a feeling about it, it's probably true. And believe them the first time. Don't make excuses for other people, and then just know what you want, and then be strong and solid about it, because it's going to take you far. Especially if you can learn this soon, right? In your young years, because you're going to get over hurdles quicker, and then you're going to be around people. You're just going to learn about people faster. And then once you trust your gut and you were right about it, then the next time you're like, okay, wait a minute. I am right. I'm just going to believe myself the first time, and I'm not going to stress about it for 3 days or whatever. Like, nope, I was right. This is how I'm going to handle it. And it's just so empowering too, to know that we can figure things out, and we are smart, and we are, and build your confidence. And then next time you're in a position similar to that, you're like, oh yeah, this is what I did and it worked. I'm doing that again.
Yeah, I completely.
You probably don't work with a lot. I'm guessing you don't work with a lot of women in construction. Do you find this, what I'm talking about, kind of the theme?
Well, again, being part of the PWC, I do go to like some of their committees and brunches, and we do talk about stuff like this. But I mean, most of my coworkers are still men, especially in Europe, though there are a lot of women in our company, and we try to bring as many women as we can. But it has, a lot of the times I have been the only woman. And speaking up, I think I'm somewhat creative. So like coming with these creative ideas and saying something and not being scared. Those things have all helped me. And you do kind of have to sometimes earn, I guess, and it's not fair, but earn the respect against some of your male coworkers. But as long as I do the best job that I can, I've been able to do that.
Good. That's good advice. That was going to be my last question for you. What's the best advice you can give to either someone looking for an internship or a job, or like finding their way in their first job and they've already gotten it and then now they're doubting themselves? Like, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think it does take some resilience. Applying for a lot of jobs. Today it's actually, I think, a little easier too, because the first or second interviews are all online before we have to get in the car, put on our suit in the car, go. And, it takes a lot of interviews, and it takes rejection, which isn't that fun either. But I mean, I've rejected some jobs too, but it doesn't feel the same as when I am getting rejected. But I mean, that's just part of the process. And again, I try to think like, okay, that job wasn't meant for me. That's why I didn't get it. And I think I learn a lot from the interviews too. So sometimes I try to apply for jobs that aren't exactly what I'm looking for, maybe close, because I found that I don't really know what the job is really about either until we get into the interviews. And even with the job today, I was honest about like where I wanted to take my career and where I wanted to grow. And when I'm hired, we're also, still looking at which path, what am I good at? It's still like a flexible job that I have, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because open to, me working in areas that are a good fit and that I'm happy in. And that's really cool to hear from a job.
Yeah. That's cool. It's great advice, because I think a lot of students will say they do get discouraged, especially if they'll say, I've applied for 30 jobs. I haven't even heard back from one person yet. And typically, if that's the case, I'll say, like, let's check out your resume. And the resume isn't really very good. And it's not because they're not smart. It's just because they don't have a good format and they just need make a few adjustments. But we make those adjustments or a few adjustments to their LinkedIn profile, and all of a sudden people are calling them back. It's like, oh yeah, it was just this. It's like, you're just not representing yourself the best way you could.
Right.
And even then, if they get interviewed and then they don't get hired, I'm like, same as you. That's not meant for you, that job. But are you really applying for things you want? Or are you just applying for anything? Well, they're like, well, I'll do anything. I'm like, that's part of the problem too. So you got to apply for a lot, but you have to apply for stuff that you're aligned to and that you're going to be excited about. Because you never know where it's going to take you. And like you said, the job, you're not really going to understand what it's about. You can read the job description, but there's always either more to it. It never says, and this is all that you're ever going to do. No, it always says, and other things not included in this. There's way more to the job. Some of the stuff that you think might not be that great about that job, there's so little. It's like 10% of the time you have to do them, but you're not going to know until you have the conversation. So have a wider view about what you know, what you want, but then have a wider view about being open to, it might not look exactly like you think it's going to look in the beginning. So I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
So what do you recommend? If people want to ask you questions and they hear this and they're like, I want to get into construction management or want to ask you more, how do you recommend they get in touch with you?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is a great place. So you can look me up, or I can share that information. I can send my email too.
And if there's any students that are in construction and want to get more involved with the PwC group, do you guys have a website?
Yes, we do. I believe it's pwc.org, but I can provide that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I know there's probably some that are listening, like, I would like to get more involved. And then I hope to, because I want them to meet more women that are doing the kind of cool things you're doing and to just see more of the examples in the industry so that they're not intimidated by it. And I just think it's cool what you guys are doing with the PwC and then those events. And I hope to see some more of that on campus too, because I think it's so important for especially the students that are like in there now at Illinois Tech, really like getting nervous and can I do this and getting intimidated. It's like, I want them to see more about what's possible.
I think I lost you for a second, but hopefully that you didn't notice that too much.
Yeah, I did. It was just, you just froze for a minute. I was just saying I'm excited for students to see more about what you're doing and people in the PwC group and then attending events so that they can be inspired.
Yes, for sure. And I'll send you the link to the website for PwC, for my LinkedIn. If you want to check out my company too, we have like free tools, free BIM viewer that you can play around with.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Julianna. It was fun talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
I appreciate your time.
Hope you have a great day and thanks again.
All right. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Check out the Illinois Tech Connect platform. It's the official networking site for Illinois Tech alumni. It's operated by Illinois Institute of Technology Alumni Association with help from Career Services. The aim of the platform is to connect our entire alumni community to provide a space for communication, networking, and other opportunities. Also, join the Illinois Tech Career Services group on LinkedIn and learn about all things career related. And be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Finally, as an alum, whenever you need career guidance or advice, you're always welcome to connect to the Career Services Department, make an appointment with a career coach, and take advantage of this lifelong resource available to all alumni. We can't wait to help you, and more importantly, we can't wait to see what you do.